What's up, y'all? I'm finna be reacting to this dude's video. It's your boy AT coming at you live from the crib, man. Live from the bed, actually. Looking at it from the, see if y'all can see that right there. I don't think y'all can. Anyway, it's an Apple, you know what I'm talking about? MacBook. You know what I'm saying? Costs a lot of bands. But anyway, let's see what he's talking about. I'm gonna react to it.
I want to give you a small broker's perspective on this guideline 371.3 that requires freight brokers to share their transaction
let me run that back so y'all can hear it, truckers.
This guideline.
What's going on is the FMCSA trying to pass a law to where we can request the real rate, the true rate. Come on now, let's get it.
371.3 that requires freight
brokers. Let me run that back. What'd he say?
371.3.
FMCSA 371.3. Y'all look that up, truck drivers, owner operators, I mean. Company drivers ain't got nothing to do with y'all.
On this guideline, 371.3, that requires freight brokers to share their transaction documents with carriers on request. So if carriers go out and request your transaction documents after a load is completed, you have to provide those documents if you don't have something else in place that say you don't have to provide those documents, right? For example, if you have an agreement in place with you and that carrier where the carrier waives its rights to those documents, then you don't have to provide those documents. It's understood. With me, I've never...
So, yeah, read your contracts before y'all sign these broker contracts. When they pass this rule, I'm pretty sure those brokers will put that in their contracts that they will not supply you the documents.
A driver, big or small trucking company, you know.
So yeah, like I was saying, I got interrupted. Those, I'm pretty sure when they pass that law, they're gonna put it in there. So make sure y'all reading y'all contracts, and you know, that way if they do got it in there, y'all know that they some shady brokers. So I'm not trying to deal with no shady brokers. I'm not trying to pull for no shady brokers. You know what I'm saying?
Request those documents. I've never had that happen. So now...
He said he never had nobody request a document. That's because they don't know about it. Like, nobody knows about it. I mean, I've heard about it, but if you did request it, you'll get blacklisted. And, you know, nobody want to be blackballed in the industry. We got to work. We need these loads to provide for our families and stuff like that. That's why we doing it. We ain't doing it for fun, for free, you know. So these guys ain't requesting it. They don't know about it. So now when the FMCSA makes it a law, everybody's going to know about it. He up here panicking. He's stressing, y'all. Let's take a look.
New rulemaking initiated around this 371.3, it seems as if they are thinking of putting guidelines around this rule and making it mandatory that freight brokers provide these documents. Personally, I think it's bad, 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 all the way around for small truck drivers and for small freight brokers. This, to me,
why is it bad, freight broker?
Struggling businesses fighting against struggling businesses. Right?
Who's struggling? You or me as an owner-operator with semi-trucks that I have to maintain and pay for, monthly payments and maintenance and fuel and pay drivers, you know, insurance, you know. Who's suffering? What do you have to pay for? A DAT monthly subscription? DAT monthly subscription? What do you have to pay for? A surety bond? That's what? 10% down? $7,500 a year? Come on, man. Who's struggling?
I don't think it's going to change much at all for bigger brokerages. The big brokerages is not going to change much, right? Because those brokerages have more freight. So if you know right now that you've been shafted, if you know right now that you're being mishandled, or at least you perceive that, right? Because that's what I think a lot of this is. This is a small trucker's grievance with big brokerages. And what end up happening is your perception.
I had to pause.
You
I had
think
an
you're
ad
getting
come
less than
through.
you should. Now, that's just what you perceive to be the case. That doesn't necessarily mean it's that way, because you have...
What you mean that's what we perceive? That's what we know. We know y'all taking a huge cut. I know that for a fact. I've seen the real rates before. And I've seen the real rates through a lumper. When I had to pay the lumper, they told me how much the trip had cost, and they took a percentage of that. They took a percentage of that, what the shipper charged. So I know the real rates. I could have made an extra $2,000 if y'all was to give me 100% of the rate. Am I asking for the extra? Am I asking for the 100%? No. So like I said, that was a 50% that y'all had took. The trip was $4,000. I took home $2,000. I mean, y'all paid the truck too. Ain't what I take home. It's not what I took home. Don't get my language confused. But yeah, so that's 50%. That's too much. That's y'all taking too much. You only should have took at least, I would have gave you $500 for that. That would have been fair. Give me 35, you keep 5.
drivers that are...
And that's one load. So if you're doing 5 of those a week, it's $2,500. And that's just one truck. How many trucks do you have that you're brokering? You see what I'm saying? Come on, man. Y'all making bank over there, man. I ain't trying to hear it.
And that freight brokers are getting 65% on a load. And here is what is hard for me to understand. If the truck driver is getting 35% and a broker is getting 65%, why would the truck driver agree to that amount, right? Is the 35%?
We wouldn't agree to that amount if we knew what it was. If we knew the actual amount. You think somebody finna let you take 65% of the load and we put it for 35%? No. I mean, I know I'm not. I know a few other drivers not. Remember, I'm king, I'm KOD. That mean king of the deadhead. I drive 1,000+ miles before I take some cheap stuff, man. You better know who you talking to.
Enough money for you to be profitable in that load? Is that why you're moving it? Or are you moving it because of scarcity of loads? There aren't any other loads to move, so you just have to go ahead and settle for that load. If that's the case, then you might be in the wrong business, right? You might be in the wrong business if loads are so scarce that in order for you to get a load, you have to give up profit. You can't make profit in loads. You have to move loads without profit. And to me, if you're in that type of situation, then you have to make a decision to exit that business. Because over time, however long you decide that you...
Man, we not finna move loads for no profit. We ain't moving no loads, period. We just gonna deadhead back to the house and start over again. We gonna leave your freight sitting on that shelf. You ain't gonna make no money, and that shipper ain't gonna get his load off. You know, he gonna have to find somebody else to do it. You know, he gonna face penalties and fines. I'm pretty sure you gonna face penalties and fines because you're in a contract with him, letting him know how much freight you can move a week, and you ain't getting it done. So it's a lose-lose situation for you, my dude. Hey, hold on, I gotta go use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
When to give it, you've decided this is not a business that I can make sufficient profit in. Not that you go in and try to change the rules in the business, you know, because most times it does.
What rules? There's never been no rules. That's why I be trying to get rules established, my dude. What is you talking about, man?
Work. Anytime you start inviting regulation into a business, to me, that just invites more regulation, right? And who has to suffer when it comes to regulation is small trucking companies, small freight brokerages, right? The bigger trucking companies, the bigger freight brokerages, they'll find their way around this, just like they do everything else. But it'll leave you and I as smaller companies to have to fight. We're fighting over the fact that you want to see the transaction documents, right? And how I look at that is that as a small freight broker who's already operating on smaller margins, because this 65% idea, this 50% idea, small freight brokerages are not making those type of margins. If you do make a large margin, 40%, for example, that's coming every now and again in special certain situations, right? That's not something that happens every day. And again, what you have to ask yourself, to me, is it enough money in it for you to make a profit? As long as you're making profit, to me, it doesn't matter what another person is being paid. I don't need to see the transaction documents. I need to know what I am going to charge you to get this load moved as a truck driver.
I disagree. I mean, we shouldn't care what somebody else is making, but greed is greed, my dude. So y'all been doing this since the beginning. So now it's time for the tide to smoothen out, because it ain't been nothing but a tsunami for us truck drivers. A tidal wave, or whatever you call that stuff. Johnny Tsunami. That's all it's been. Tsunami waves crashing in on us. So hopefully they pass this law, man, and we really get to expose y'all, seeing what y'all really profiting.
That's it. And we have to negotiate on that. But I'm not going to continue to move loads at a loss, because I know that's not in the best interest of myself and a business. We have to make profit in order to survive. But why do I say it's going to be just small companies fighting against small companies? You see, because small truckers are going to take a look at how much is in the transaction, right? They can say, okay, well, I know this amount is in it, so I'm just going to hold out until I get what I want. He might leave 5% in for that broker. So that's not going to be a good look for small freight brokerages. It's just going to be in.
Now you see what we going through, huh? You see how we going through dealing with y'all. You see that? Shoot. Hey, it wouldn't be me. I know fair is fair, I know what fair is. But hey, if a truck driver just want to leave you 5% or 2%, it is what it is, my dude. Let's keep on listening to this man.
Between small companies. You're not going to do that with the bigger freight brokerages. If you know right now that that freight brokerage is making 50%, at least you perceive that in your mind. Your perception is he's getting more than he should. I would submit to you that if you got the documents, you might find out that he's making less than what you thought. Because you perceive it to be a certain way, that's your truth. That's what's true to you in your own mind, right? But let's just say he is making 50%. The larger freight brokerages, let's say they are making 50%. Right now, you feel like you're getting shafted. Right now, you feel like you're being mishandled, and you are still moving those loads. Nothing is going to change that. When you get to see what the transactions are saying, when you see those documents and see what the freight broker is making, that's not going to say, oh, okay, now because I know he's making 50%, I'm not going to move the load. Because the next load that you look at could be that same freight broker. Because it's a big freight broker, he has more of the freight. It's not going to change a whole lot when it comes down to the bigger brokerages.
It's changing, man. Like you said, if we can't negotiate that rate that he's getting down, 50% down, we're just going to leave it on the shelf. We're going to leave it on the dock, wherever it's at. You know what I'm saying? That's what we going to do. So I don't care about the next load, because if he make a 50% on that, we going to leave it on the shelf. Now we really going to shut down, man. All this shutting down without a cause is over with. So once we get that cause, once we know for a fact, hey, y'all is being greedy, y'all ain't being fair with the rates, y'all are starving us out, then yes, we are going to do that. We are going to do that. We're going to shut it down. My friend told me I should be getting a call from somebody, so I might have to start this video prematurely, but y'all see where I'm going with it, folks.
If they're making 50% now, they're going to be making 50% when you